Hi, let's have a look at Kadena or the KDA token because it's currently crashing. It's taking quite a beating. Among the top 100 cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap, Kadena has lost the most in the last 24 hours. It's down 14%. And so the question is this potentially an opportunity, right? Because you should be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. So does it make sense to buy the dip? And in order to answer this question, we will not just look at the charts. Of course, we will do this, right? We will look at the US dollar chart and the chart relative to Bitcoin, relative to Ethereum. But what we will also do is we will look at the fundamentals. So how is the project currently developing? There's quite a few promises. There's quite a bit of nice USPs, safe smart contracts, no transaction costs, very energy efficient, and of course, scalable. So how far are we currently in terms of development, in terms of adoption? But first things first, let's look at the charts. This is Kadena in US dollars. And I prefer to look at relative valuations because cryptocurrencies, they have quite a bit of correlation, right? They're highly correlated. When we look at the top over here for Kadena, it happened pretty much at the same time where the top for Bitcoin happened. Or when we look at this valley over here in July of last year, it also was a low price for Kadena. So there is a lot of correlation. When things go up, everything goes up. When Bitcoin and Ethereum is going down, everything goes down. So we want to look at relative charts. So this is now Kadena in Bitcoin and Kadena in Ethereum. What's interesting though about this is that when we look at this, these charts, they don't look too different to the US dollar chart itself. And the reason is the idiosyncratic movements of Kadena. So the volatility of Kadena itself, it's simply so massive, it's so strong that you can barely see the impact of the already relatively volatile Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum, it did go down by more than 50% in the last year, and it did go up from the bottom to the top by more than 100%. So there is some kind of volatility here, but still, when we divide the Kadena price by the Bitcoin price, the chart patterns, they look almost the same to the flat US dollar chart, simply because the volatility of Kadena is so massive. And this is what I'm talking about here. This rally, which was a bit over 3 months, in US dollar terms, we went up by 7,800% in such a short period of time. So you don't see that kind of volatility in a lot of altcoins. This is definitely unique, but you do want to be correct with your timing. If you're not, a drop of 86% is very possible. You might even, in the very worst case, go down by 95%. And this is versus Ethereum. This is not even in the US dollar chart. So there's two approaches to this, right? You could either consider trading this, or you could alternatively simply hold this for the long term. I'm not going to talk too much about trading altcoins. I personally like to time the overall altcoin market, look at what the altcoin market cap is doing, look at back-tested indicators on where the current momentum is. If you like to learn more about that, feel free to check out here the premium membership. But for this video, let's keep it simple and let's look at the fundamentals of Kadena. So this is Kadena.io. A lot of promises over here, right? Safer smart contracts, 0 transaction fee, very scalable, very energy efficient. This all looks very promising. But where are we right now? When we click here at ecosystem, let's have a very quick look at this. We find 42 projects. The very first project being listed is KuCoin, which is a centralized exchange. Gate.io is also centralized exchange. OKX, Bittrex. So all of those are simply places where you can buy the token. It's not necessarily belonging to the Kadena ecosystem. Now let's look at the Kadena ecosystem. Usually what comes first with competing layer ones, with competitors to Ethereum, what comes first is usually a decentralized exchange, right? A DEX. So over here we have AMM, which means automated market maker. It's pretty much the same as a DEX. So it's interesting. They've got 2 categories listed over here. And what we see is Kadena Swap and KEDX. Now, where are we with this right now? For Kadena Swap, we don't see any link. So let's search for that. What we find is a Medium article, which has been released on the 1st of February 2021. So what we see here is that there's maybe some kind of a rebranding. I'm not sure. Bounty Swap is a live beta. When we click on this, though, we come to a site can't be reached. We do see a UI here, though. So maybe this is just the wrong link. So let's search for bounty swap. It doesn't show us too much. We get the same Medium article, we get a Twitter post, and we get an ERC20 token, which means an Ethereum token. Let's look at the Twitter post. Bounty swap is wrapping up in testnet. And here again, we simply just have a link to the Medium article with the broken link. Now I'm simply presenting over here, right? I'm not yet judging, but it's definitely interesting to note, right? Let's look at KEDX. So that's the second project listed here for automated market maker and decentralized exchange. That's the place where we get, and it's advertised as a gas-free decentralized exchange. That's the UI. It looks quite nice. And since Kadena is not EVM compatible, so you can't just run your Ethereum code here. Since that's the case, we can't connect a MetaMask wallet over here. We need to have a Zelcore or a Chainweaver crypto wallet. Now let's see if we still can see details around the liquidity pools or some statistics. There seems to be one single liquidity pool which currently has KDA versus Flux. So Flux is currently at $1.56. That's the reserve of the pool. So one side of the pool is 211K. So it looks like the entirety of this KEDX decentralized exchange has 0.4 million in it, which is not a lot at all, but at least there seems to be something running on the blockchain, so it's better than nothing. Would be interesting though to see what kind of return as a liquidity provider one could get. But still, this is very, very tiny, right? 0.4 million is very little. It's even so little indeed that here on DeFi Llama, we don't even see Kadena as one of the listed blockchains, right? Look, we have a lot of blockchains over here, 81 in its totality, and the total value locked on those blockchains is massive, right? Ethereum has 124 billion, the Binance Smart Chain has 12 billion, Avalanche has 10, Phantom has 8, Solana has 8. And even if we go down and we go to the smaller players over here, even something like the testnet of Polkadot has 211 million. So Kadena is not listed over here, which does seem to indicate we are still very, very early here. There is a lot of competition going on in the layer 1 ecosystem, right? When we zoom in over here, this is still DeFi Llama, and we look at this development. In the early days, it was basically Ethereum that was dominating the market, right, with 95% or so market share. And now over time, so this starts in October 2020, over time, Ethereum's market share is declining, and all of those other layer ones, the Binance Smart Chain, the Terra ecosystem, Avalanche, Solana, Phantom, Polygon, Tron, they're all taking away market share from Ethereum because Ethereum's gas fees are so high. So far, Kadena is not a relevant player in this game. Can this change? Maybe. But when you do bet on this, simply be aware that you're really here in it for the developer team. You're really in it for a bet on the future. The competition is stiff, and what has been established so far isn't yet too impressive. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe because I publish videos regularly, not just on Kadena, but on a lot of altcoins. And since some of those videos, they might be somewhat time sensitive, don't forget to hit the notifications as well. Last but not least, if you see that I've missed something very critical in this video and you'd like to discuss this, feel free to post this below this video so we can clear things up potentially. Thanks for watching. Consider joining the Telegram groups. It's right down here, and see you next time. Bye-bye.